The magic pill is to stay in your freaking lane.
There's going to be some stuff that you mess up on, but like, okay, I tried this for 2 weeks. It's not working. I'm going to switch to this. And then I'm going to switch to this. And I'm going to switch to this because of what you said. This looks like a good program. Oh my God, look at these guys. You see all these things that are happening and you're like, okay, well, they're doing this. Maybe I should do this. But remembering that I'm really good in this lane. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're watching this or you're listening to this. Heck, maybe you're doing both. This is your first time here. You've just found the best damn podcast you've ever heard or seen before in your whole life. We are known as Old Guys Still Rock. And today we're going to be in episode 168. We're going to be talking about do you hear the noise? What's the noise around you? We're just going to get about all this clutter that's around you, but we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But before we start, I am Blair Armstrong. I'm Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I'm located here in the beautiful, beautiful Coachella Valley. I'm a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate. And today we actually are not going to hit 100 degrees today. So I'm very excited about that. Kind of mad that I didn't wear pants. I walked out, I'm like, I could have wore pants today. So the last couple of days, we've just having this monsoonal weather. It's been super muggy. It's still going to be muggy today, but it's not going to be 100 degrees today. So we're very excited about that. We broke the streak. And Then on my left, possibly your right, is the other host of this show and a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, Brent Wright at Brent Wright Incorporated. Man with many different hats, from detail shops to body shops to payroll companies to multiple property owner. We just talked about this last week. If you're not, he just actually owns a whole block of rentals. That's pretty cool. He is actually the financier of his wife's company for White Wellness Center. And she was on just about 3 weeks ago. So if you miss it, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, you missed that episode. I think it's 166 on that episode. Go back and check that out. They have a really, really state-of-the-art wellness center located in the heart of Eugene, Oregon. So if you're in that area, stop by and check it out. And last but not least, really, really good business coach and personal coach. So if you're kind of been stuck in this loop, that's kind of another reason why we started this podcast. If you're stuck in this loop, you're kind of looking for that golden nugget just to get you out of that loop. This is the guy. So let's watch this episode and then go back and watch 167 other episodes and figure out if he's a fit for you. Super easy to get a hold of. But with all that being said, what's going on, my dude? How is the 541 and the EUG area today?
Doing really well. The weather is temperate and warmish. So in the mid 80s it's actually been pretty nice, but still a blessing to have air conditioning.
Always nice. I don't know how people deal without it.
Yep.
So
exactly.
So dude, let's just get right into this thing, man. There's a bunch of stuff going on, being entrepreneurs, we get surrounded with the noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just all this, you should do this, you should do this, why are you doing this? And there's this noise. So going back to your coaching spot before I kind of get into my stuff, are you seeing more of that right now, or are you seeing less of that? Or are people even recognizing the noise that's around them that's really distracting them from production?
Well, of course, it's definitely a problem. So if you listen to all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things, you probably take 20 supplements a week, I'm guessing, right? If you were to listen to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X, you probably need to take like 200, right? That's noise. You only need to take what you need to take for you. So everything's a process. So start out with a blood test. Figure out what you need or what's missing and only apply that information. So it's very similar to coaching. It's if all of your employees are leaving, there's something missing in what you're doing as a leader. If you're retaining your employees long term, then there's something you're doing that's going well in being a leader. if you're constantly changing your leadership style based upon what you see on socials and what you hear and what you see other people doing, if you're in a leadership group or things like that, it seems like people always and consistently are inconsistent.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, we talk about this always. What's a quick fix? What's a magic pill, right? And
The magic pill is to stay in your freaking lane.
yeah, and to constantly learn. There's going to be some stuff that you mess up on, but like, okay, I tried this for 2 weeks, it's not working. I'm going to switch to this, and then I'm going to switch to this, and I'm going to switch to this because of what you said. Social media, right? Once they find your algorithm,
Yeah.
and they start feeding all this stuff. Oh my God, this looks like a good program. Oh my God, look at these guys, and and that's where you just kind of get. I mean, in the world of real estate, you see all these things that are happening, and you're like, okay, well, they're doing this. Maybe I should do this. But remembering that I'm really good in this lane and I need to stay in that lane. Can I perfect the lane? Could I make the lane better? Absolutely. Can I repave it? Can I add some bushes to it? So on and so forth. To try to give you a visual, but being in that lane is okay. And just because somebody may be visually doing better than you at that time, don't get distracted by that noise and get pulled off and try to follow what they're doing or not doing, because what we
Well,
see
I'll
right
tell you,
now is
I'll give you an example. So I do really well at residential real estate, right? And
yeah,
so I have not dove into the deep end of the pool into commercial real estate. It's not
right,
my lane.
right,
And now I have 20-ish doors under my belt. And now I'm doing research on commercial to try to see if it's something that I want to go into because it's its own animal.
right,
Right. And so my residential stuff, if I have multifamily, which I have now,
yeah,
that's lightly commercial. So I've done a little bit of that. I've danced down that lane a little bit, but now I'm researching and now I'm trying to figure out if this is a good place, the next step for me to go.
right,
Right. So I didn't go buy one house and then buy an apartment complex and then buy a retail space and try to meld all that together because they're all three different things. Right. And so I tried to clear the noise. Have you guys ever watched the movie? What's it called? Got Kevin Costner in it, For the Love of the Game.
yeah,
So he's sitting on the mound and he does this routine before he pitches and he says, clear the mechanism, and everything gets quiet. And even though the crowd's cheering and the guy's giving him signals, the catcher's giving him signals, the umpire's moving around, the batter's moving around trying to distract him, he uses this trigger and says, clear the mechanism. And then everything goes dead silent so he can concentrate. Figures out his pitch, he winds up, and he releases. And it's consistent every single time.
yeah. And that's we kind of get lost in that stuff with so many different things with businesses and hurdles. Again, going back to what we talked about to the power list of why that kind of helps you clear the noise a little bit, is that you have 5 critical things you can do. There's going to be a bunch of stuff getting after you, but if you're just concentrating getting those 5 critical things done every single day, that noise, you learn to start blocking out that noise over and over and over again. Like, okay, yes, I know that stuff's coming to me, but I'm not going to react to it. I'm not going to get lost in the minutia of the noise and doing different things. So those are just some of the things. And we have so much coming at us from different directions, from social media to TV, just to different situations in business. And then we let it engulf us. And if you don't say, okay, wait a minute, it's mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting. It is detrimental to relationships because if you're physically and mentally exhausted, then where are you supposed to give that energy to your partner or your business partner or your wife or your husband, whatever that may be? So I just, when we started talking about this topic a couple months ago, what was there one thing that said, gosh darn it, were you losing control of the noise, or were you trying to like, I have to make the noise a little bit less and less and less?
I need to control the noise. In the notes that Jackson sent over to us, by the way, Jackson, thank you. You're doing a great job in producing us. I really appreciate it. But it's chasing external validation is really the thing. Am I trying to make everybody happy all the time? Or am I trying to make me happy and my family happy and my employees happy? And am I concentrating on one little segment of the population that I'm trying to make happy? Or am I trying to show everybody that I'm cool and successful? Right? That it's do the work in solitude and in quiet, and the results will speak loud.
Brent, that's not the way it is. You have to be on social media. You have to make 25 posts a week. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to go shake hands and kiss babies and da-da-da. Is there a point? So let's use that. So, okay, this is what you have to do because that's the noise, right? But being a business, is there a point in time that you do have to go out and shake hands and kiss babies and
so
be
it's
on that social media?
It's yes and. It's yes, you have to do that, and you need to control the narrative. You need to control your time. We've talked about this before many, many times. I only do social media at the top of every hour, and I limit it to 5 minutes, and I turn it to black and white so I don't get sucked in to all the colors and all the things that trigger my hypo. Right? They don't trigger my adrenal gland. They don't trigger my cortisol, all of those things, because that's what this thing is designed to do. This thing is a trigger. It's a tool, but it's a trigger. So use the tool and stop the trigger.
Yeah, switching to gray. Somebody was asking me the other day, I was looking at my phone, why is your phone like not in color? Is it broken?
Purposely broken.
No, it's purposely broken. It's purposely broken, so it's good. So one of the things that I, as I said, I'm dealing with right now is we have so many moving parts and all this stuff, and especially in any world of real estate, the quick fix. And I know that we just talked about this a little bit ago, but we're going to come back to that. When you're having your clients sit down and they're like, okay, well, we tried this, we tried this, we tried this, we tried this, and it's not working. What is your question back to them? I know what you're going to say, but for our listeners and subscribers and that stuff, like, hey, okay, so what's your hurdle? Da da da. What did you try? What didn't work? And then they kind of give you a smorgasbord of different things that they have tried. Do you have clients that come to you and ask you that?
Yeah. So coaching client this morning, it's my farm, and I only met with the wife today. The husband's in New Zealand, and they're struggling with their hiring process. They're struggling with retaining key and quality employees. And the reason why they're struggling is because they don't have a hiring SOP. One person does it this way, one person does it this way, the other person does it that way. Nobody's doing it consistently and the same way every single time. And vetting these people. I found out today they're not doing background checks. They're not doing credit checks. You have people handling hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in money that you don't know if their personal life is a train wreck financially.
Right. When that was uncovered, what was their response?
Well, maybe we should do that,
Well, I didn't I never thought of it that way. Sometimes like, hey, why didn't you have this? And some people say, well, I just never thought of it that way. We've always been this way. It's always worked for us, so on and so forth.
Well, it's not worked because you're asking about it. You brought it up.
Yeah.
You're asking for advice and help, right? And so we have a thing in my organization. We are slow to hire and quick to fire. So we even go down the road of email interview, personality test, phone/Zoom interview, in-person interview, working interview, and then possibly a follow-up working interview, and then a hiring interview. And people are saying, I know that you're saying, that takes too long. I need somebody now. I need somebody now. You need somebody now because you don't have a process and you're always chasing this. I need somebody now because they're constantly leaving. You have a constant churn.
And that's the noise, right?
That's the noise.
That's the noise. So, the noise for us right now is just all these different okay, go ahead and, get comps, do this, get graphs, do all this different things. And you're bringing all this stuff to a listing appointment and you're sitting down with them. Those are really cool visually, but what it does is noise for me in my world. And what I found is, yes, it's really cool to have all the display. Here's what we have doing some different things. But what happens is they get lost in all of this different stuff. Or my friend down the street sold their house last week for this amount of money, and now you're telling me my house is only worth this amount of money. If I
See, I
look on
wouldn't even first time meeting with a client, I wouldn't even get into numbers. I would just make sure
exactly,
that it's a good fit to work with them, and you're not
yeah,
an a hole to them, and they're not an a hole to you.
yeah, it's exactly what I'm more on the relationship side. But you go to these real estate coaches, do this, do this, do this, do this, and like it's just a lot, and you don't even know as you're going through with them. So yeah, we typically have
Well,
a
that's
listing,
great if you want to get 200 listings a year, but only retain or sell
a
40,
bunch of them,
right? Or would you rather get 40 quality people that don't time suck you,
right?
right? So vet the process,
Yeah,
vet the person, and then you can vet the result, right?
yeah. I think but I mean, as any business, right? At the beginning, I'm not saying that we've evolved from that, but we are now into this spot too. Is not saying that we're greater than anybody else, but we're in the spot of if we're not if we're just not vibing off the first 15, 20 minutes, we'll I will just basically say I just don't know if we're a fit because I've learned over time with different personalities, even though you want that listing or different things, we've actually constructed, haven't used it yet, but constructed basically an expectation sheet for our listing agent, or excuse me, for our listing customers and for our buying customers. So we know exactly what they're looking for. And then we also have a list of expectations that we hand them saying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're going to do, this is what you should expect from us. And this is what we expect from you. But realistically, I mean, that comes at the end of the but we really wanna talk about who they are, seeing if our personalities are similar. There's just so many different questions that I can kinda get into. It's feeling people out and just realizing like, "Hey, is this gonna be a good fit or am I just taking this for a paycheck?" And
Mm-hmm.
yes, the paycheck's important, but also your mental sanity can be important. We have a
Yeah.
client right now that we thought, we had many conversations, decided to go with this, and it is what it is, but it's been a lot of hand holding and back and forth and, you know, minuscule small things that are shown to us that they're major catastrophic, but realistically, it's just a couple-minute fix. So
Well,
it's just
I
what
would ask the one question: what is your expectation of
right.
this process?
Yeah, and that's what we do and the funny thing is we did ask that. So we've been hitting all those markers. Just for some reason, I think that there is this they want to have some sort of chaos
Mm-hmm.
that becomes the noise, right? And then how to control that. And sometimes you have to have that, which we had a couple weeks ago. We've had a conversation. This cannot continue to happen. And if it continues to happen, we're going to separate ways. But the the stuff that you're dragging us through or making complicated, we have to zone this in. We told you this was going to be this, and this way. You
Mm-hmm.
took and we had you know what our expectations are. We knew what you needed to get done. We knew what we need to get done, and that's not working. So let's stop. Let's get rid of all this
Refocus the
outside
mission.
stuff, refocus the mission, get rid of all this outside noise. I don't care what people are calling you and telling you. This is the way it's going to happen. And that conversation, and sometimes you just have
What
to
was
have
our?
those.
You got to revisit. What was our original commitment? What
Yeah.
was mine, and what was yours?
And then it brings them back. But sometimes,
And it's
uh,
no different than with employees. It's no different than with the customer. With any of it, it's what's our mission, right? It goes back to the decision making tree. Does this serve me?
right.
Is this reasonable? Does this get me to my outcome? Is this consistent with my values and standards? Right? That might even be something that you even put in your packet. This
Yeah.
is our decision making tree. If I come to you with a change on your listing, this is our reference point. And I'm going to preface my reasoning for the change based upon this decision tree. right? So if you're engaging employees, it's the same decision-making tree. Does this serve me? Does this serve you? Is this reasonable to both of us? Does this get us to our mutual outcome? And is this consistent with our agreed upon values and standards? So we have everybody sign our values and standards form.
That's good.
Right? So, Mr., Mrs. So-and-so, you've been working here for 6 months. You come to me with a couple of issues that you need to address. Let's address those issues, but let's go back to our values and standards. Is the thing that you're asking me for, does it create a positive impact? Is it being humble? Is it committing to dominating? Is it leadership through action? We go back to our values and standards and ask those questions, and we don't get emotional about it. The noise is your body and your emotional triggers that feed that noise. I cut out noise. I'll give you an example. I cut out noise, and God love Jackson for being adaptable, but I cut out noise like you're sending me calendar items that I can't open, right? We had this discussion while I was driving on one of our last monthly meetings. There's some noise in our conversation and our communication that needs to change for me. Is it okay if we make those changes? And would that help anybody else? Or is it just a me problem?
I think it helps everybody in the communication. If you're not, again, this is going to be maybe sound different, but maybe a lack of communication is that noise, right? Not having it or not understanding each other. That's the noise that has to be adjusted or fine-tuned or tuned into us a little bit better. So having that and like, okay, this isn't working for me. How do we make this work for better? Even going back to your standards list that you have your employees sign, that lowers the temperature, that lowers the noise when they do come to you about something. Okay,
it actually raises the temperature for a positive result.
Okay,
but it lowers the noise and it lowers the drama. Right? I'm trying to cut out all drama out of my life. Everything needs to be based upon facts, figures, and a lack of emotion. I'm not saying I'm not emotional about some things.
Right.
I'm saying I try to cut out an emotional response because my first gut, the human in me tries to go to an emotional response. I try to cut that out and then go back to the decision-making tree.
How long did it take you to get to that process of doing that?
Oh, dude, I'm still in it.
No, but I'm just saying is even to have your employees sign that, was it something that you kind of developed one day or you like, hey, I'm trying to cut this through this. And then even though they've been working with for a while, you had to come back and sign that?
Yeah. So 8 years ago, we instituted this process, and it's because there was so much noise that we were forced to create a lack of noise. We had to quiet the machine.
Okay.
So no different than you go out to your pump house and your pump is running and you can hear this screeching noise. Well, the first thing you go to do is try to oil it, right?
Right.
But is the oil solving the problem, or is it just band-aiding it until it becomes a problem again?
That's good.
And so sometimes you need to stop oiling things and start figuring out the root issue. The root issue with our organization is that we didn't have values and standards that everybody had agreed to.
Can too much emotion or caring kind of be in that servant leadership or whatever it is too, that I just want to help. I just want to see the good side of them. I just want to help them get better. I know that they're trying. I know it's going to take a little bit longer, or I know that I'll just say this. I know that they're trying and they're just not doing it, but you still feel like you owe it to them I know that you're different to me. I'm just saying that, but you still feel like there's hope for them and you keep giving hope and keep giving hope and keep giving hope. And then
So this came up in a mentorship opportunity that I have, mentoring a gentleman who was homeless about 4 or 5 months ago. And now he's living in one of my rentals, and I've helped him get his ID. I'm helping him get a bank account. I've helped him with work so he can afford to live and all these things. The question I asked him this week was when we had a meeting on Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, we had a meeting, and I said, why is it that I care about you more than you care about you? And his answer was, I don't know.
Crazy, right?
And I said, well, maybe that's the part that we need to work on, is you caring about you, not your needs, not your emotions, but you caring about you getting to your goals as much as I care about helping you get to your goals.
When do you stop doing that?
I draw a line in the sand right there. In that conversation, it's you got to start doing these things to stay focused on your goals. And if these 3 things happen, I'm out.
Do you have them sign something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you disrespect me again, deal breaker. If you call me names, deal breaker, right? If you come to me and say, this is an emotional trigger for me and I want to talk about it, we're still on point. If you become emotional and personally attack me, we're done.
Yeah.
These 3 things are deal breakers. Can we agree that these 3 things are not going to happen again? And if they do, you're going to be okay with the results. Well, what are the results? Well, the results are, we're done. I'm going to stop mentoring you.
Right.
You're going to need to find another place to live, and we're done.
Yeah. I just, I see some things and I have conversations with other business people and stuff like that. Sometimes we get to a point of enabling, right? And that we're trying to help them out doing some different things. And sooner or later, the enabling becomes as an expectation.
Well, it's a crutch.
It's a crutch.
Right?
And it's really not helping that person.
Yeah, no matter how I treat Brent, he's still going to be there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the line. If you cross the line, I'm going to swing over the line.
Right. Have you had employees that you kind of gave a long leash to, or is your leash pretty short? I understand what you're saying too. If you cross the line,
I've done it in the past. It didn't serve me, and so I don't do it any longer.
It's what I'm hearing, which is all of this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who are listening to this know this is really not to have any emotion to. It's a business decision, and we're both here to try to succeed. But if you're not going to persevere, or you're not going to take ownership of your role, and realistically, why are you here?
The guy that I'm mentoring said, well, apparently you're just all business. Yes, because I'm in the business of success and failure, and my failures will drive my success and shore up my success. So I fail, I learn, I don't do it again, and then I'm successful on the next round.
Do you feel that we've gotten too kumbaya in a lot of business or even relationships without really addressing the stuff like this? And so, I mean,
100%.
again, that's going to go back to what we're talking about. That's the noise. Like, we just all have to get along. We all have to do this, and not really. There's times to have good relationships and get along. I get what you're saying,
but it goes back to McCumber's deal, right?
Right.
What's he say? It's the 3 H's, right?
Yeah. You want me to hear you? You want me to help you, or do you want me to hug you?
Yep.
Right.
So in every situation, what's the expectation? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And if the only thing you're trying to accomplish is to make yourself feel better and comfortable, I can help you with that. But it may be somewhere else.
Because it won't be here.
It won't be here.
Yeah. And I think that, and actually, I don't think, I start seeing that a lot lately, that employees have become entitled, or the entrepreneurs are going to become entitled because they feel like we've done this, and this. But realistically, there's a gap in the stuff that just because they have done that doesn't mean that if they're not hitting what you talked about, the standards and all those different the things that you were saying, just because they are in their mind doing everything, kind of get this entitlement, like, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. But if they're not hitting that mark, that is also I would just say, a lot of extra noise that a company doesn't need, or a relationship doesn't need.
Well, we're all replaceable. So from an employee standpoint, we're all replaceable. From a relationship standpoint, we're all replaceable. Right? If I died tomorrow, within 15 to 18 minutes, most everything that I have going will fall to one side or the other. It'll still either happen or it won't. This podcast would either still go on and you'd replace me with somebody else, or you won't.
Right.
My wife will replace me or she won't. My kids will replace me or they won't. Anybody that I'm working for right now, all of my coaching stuff will literally replace me or they won't. We're all replaceable.
It sounds so cold, right? But it's really reality. And that's why I want to go back to say, there's so much kumbaya that we see and us, love each other, do all this great things. We love you. But
It is cold
there
because
is
it's
some
fine.
coldness to it,
It's finite.
right?
We're all playing a finite game. Learn the rules.
Yeah.
Follow the rules. Or change the game.
When you're sharing this with your clients and you're basically kind of having them do a 180 of the way they've done stuff and really treat it, not saying they haven't been treated as a business, but be more stoic, if you may, being more black and white and have this gray area or this rainbow area. How is their first response like? You've got to change this. You've got to cut this off. You've got to, you can't do this anymore because it's going to be a detriment to your business. Are
Well,
they open to that, or because what if they've been doing it for years? Are they open
yeah,
to it, or are they just like, you're not for me?
two things are going to happen. I'm going to change and I'm going to embrace change, or I'm going to continue to staying the way that I am and have been and will continue. Perfect. If we pick one, then it's going to get painful. And if you pick the other, it's going to stay painful. Neither side is less painful. It's just pick your pain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the more painful one will actually pay bigger benefits down the road.
Usually,
The less painful one is like, okay, well, I can get by with it. It's been working. It's not that big a deal. But it's just this whole concept of the noise, just with so many different things of easy pill, or the which we talked about before, get a shot to lose a bunch of weight and all those different things. And it's just so much different noise of what can we do instantaneously. And when I heard you when we talked about bringing up this topic, all I could think about is no one wants to enjoy the process anymore.
yeah.
Everybody wants to hear of the next great thing, or they don't want, they're going to listen to it. And even though that it sounds good to them, they're going to go ahead and take that, even though that you're advised not to. Just,
I had a customer yesterday that said she found out from one of my employees that I have a bunch of rentals. She's like, that's not for me. She goes, I have a friend who has 40, 50 doors, very successful person, very wealthy, handles it really well. She's like, I can't deal with people and their BS, but I'm broke and
yeah,
I don't have a retirement. Your friend has 40, 50 doors and they're very wealthy and they're dealing with the noise
right.
and they're successful. You don't want to deal with the noise, but you don't have a retirement and you're struggling living on Social Security and you're broke and you can't afford basic repairs on your car. Do you want to listen to the noise and deal with the noise? Or do you want to have no noise, but also have no opportunities? So sometimes noise is good.
Well, that noise, when I hear you say that, the noise is it's noise that they tell themselves that they're just too scared to do something. It's 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 self-induced noise to make themselves feel better for not taking the risk to go out and do something like that. So that's another part. It's just like so many different aspects of noise, from what you hear to what you tell yourself to what we talked about last week. Are you a liar? Are you really listening to the BS that you're telling yourself to make yourself feel better? Or
Mm-hmm.
are you telling yourself like, okay, this noise is not going to be fun, but I have to, my adjustments have to be here. Thing with you and I, you put it on our calendar. Gotta pray with our wives every night, right?
Yeah.
And so just regardless, and Chrissy's been taking care of her dad for the past week, and she hasn't been home. But we're praying every day. It's a commitment that we made, that we're going to pray every night. So I make sure that before I go to bed, we're praying together, and then
I've
that's
only
it.
successfully done it one night out of 7.
Okay.
We made a point to do it. We have routines. And this isn't an excuse, it's just a fact. But we haven't done it because we are stuck in our routine and I have to modify and adjust that routine. I have to be a better leader in
Right.
that. It's
Right.
up to me.
Absolutely. So that's your noise right now, though, right?
My
So it's
my
just
my noise is my changing the routine,
right.
modifying the routine, so that way I can be forthright with my commitment to myself.
But that's why I go back to that. Yes, it's a change of your routine, and eliminating noise doesn't happen overnight. I think that's where I wanted to go with that. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen. It is a process. Some days you're going to win, some days you're going to lose. But the
You
more
make
that
the
you keep trying,
commitment
make
overnight,
the commitment. Yeah.
but the change takes time and effort and energy that most people are unwilling to commit and be okay with the failure. I have 6 failures and 1 win.
Yeah.
I'm winning because the prior week I had 7 failures and 0 wins. And the prior week to that, I had 7 failures and 0 wins.
Going back to the process, it's not going to happen overnight, but find those things that are getting in your way, keeping you off of your path, keeping it off, off of your lane, trying to divert you different things to it. It's not going to happen every night, but write down those noises that are mentally exhausting you, or physically exhausting you, or realistically just a waste of your time that you're trying to, what you said, to be nice to everyone and make sure that everyone likes me. Yes, we would love for everyone to like us. That's just not reality. Those personalities are going to conflict and still be cordial, but not everyone's going to like you. But figure out what your noise is and start working on it. Put it down. And if you haven't done so yet, make a power list. Like, make it one of your critical tasks. Today, I'm going to work on eliminating this noise. And you may win some days and you may lose some days. As you said, Brent, I was lost 6 days. Well, he's still making an effort to get that. And then maybe next week he's got 2 wins. Maybe the week after that he still has 2 wins. Whatever that is, the point of is we can talk about it and talk about it, what she just said, and we can put it on our calendars, we can put it on our list, but until you are really sick of that noise or you really make the adjustment to do that, that's on you.
Or you're ready to create the noise. Right? So modification of my agenda that I normally follow is going to create chaos and noise.
Right.
And being okay with that change.
That's a good one.
Right? So noise isn't bad, guys.
No. And I think that maybe that we try to
pick the noise that you're willing to suffer for to get to the results that you want.
Yeah, I think that maybe some of this podcast kind of gave it a negative connotation to what the noise is, and I think that was perfect. What you just said is noise is not always bad; it's causing you change to get better. So, any final thoughts for you, my dude?
Take out noise that's not serving you. Create noise that will serve you. And just whatever you do, go make a damn difference.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. And again, if this is your first time here, we said we have 167 other episodes. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell on whatever platform you're watching on. We're on all the ones that you guys are using, from Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. This list goes on. And most of all, we do not have any advertisers. We do not have any sponsors. You're all grassroots. So what we need from you, this is not making us any money. What we need from you is to share the show. So as soon as you're done with this, if there's something that you liked or something you heard that you think somebody else could hear, do us a solid, share the show. As Andy and DJ said, don't share the show. Don't be a hoe. All right, guys. Until we see each other next week, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. Take care.